Hi traders, this is a revised video of the JFX Java powered products series from FX Ergo Trader. Some of the existing customers were having problems with global changes being rippled through on the charts and profiles being maintained and all that kind of stuff. So I spent the last few days tweaking the system and making a few changes to try and increase or improve the performance of it. What I've done here is put 6 charts on the screen with and each one is fully loaded with quite a few of the JFX products. So we've got predictive pivots, the daily, weekly and monthly JFX pivots, daily Fibonacci pivots, price moving average crossover alert, 3-month rolling pivots, trend change indicators, stochastic crossover, RSI alerts and MACD turbo. So this is a fairly conclusive test. It would be very unlikely that customers would be running this level, this level of indicators on any chart at the same time. So I wanted to try and stress test the system as much as possible. So I don't expect people to really kind of spend too much time looking at these charts in detail, but I just wanted to show you how you can make changes to the charts on a global level. First of all, let's just going to say something like the RSI system. So if we go to RSI alerts and if we click on a chart, so I've just clicked on USD Canadian dollar 15 minute, and let's just say I want to make the line width for the upper trigger channel thick. I've just done that there. Let's say I also want to change it to change the color of that to say olive. Now we can see that thick olive line in the US dollar Canadian dollar M15 chart. So if I want to ripple that across to all the profiles within the US dollar Canadian dollar, I just click copy profile to all time frames. So then when I scroll through the different time frames, you can see that profile with a thick upper trigger level has been rippled across to all the different time frames. If I now click copy profile to all time frames and all charts, you'll now see when we get a tick, all of those profiles have been, or that profile has been copied across to all the charts. And that is obviously much better than it used to be. It's not perfect, so every time sometimes you have to check if you've got a lot going on, because what happens is when you click the global copy function within the interface, it basically sends out all the control files for you automatically, but it requires the chart to tick within 5 seconds after you click the button. If it doesn't tick, then the change won't be made. So let's say, for example, this is a trend change indicator here, and this is Aussie dollar, US dollar 15 minute. And let's say I want to make the tick volume data, I want to change the color of the histogram. So let's go into trend change, and at the moment we need to select a chart, so Aussie dollar 15 minute, and let's say I want to make my tick bar color let's say black. So you can see that one has now changed to black. And then the same way, if I copy profile to all time frames, wait 5 seconds, and that's all gone through. In the same way, I might want to change the STD multiple. Let's go to, say, you can see the STD multiple, the trigger area coming up there, it's quite small. So, and if I want to ripple that through to all the different charts on all time frames, you can see that change is now being rippled through. If you're not sure, click it again. In the same way, I may want to control pivots. So if we just look at, say, I don't know, an Aussie dollar 15 minute chart, we'll look at it in an enlarged fashion. So let's just give ourselves a bit more screen real estate here. And I'm just going to move some of these indicators, make them a little bit smaller, so I've got more chart window visible to me. So say, for example, I want to change the pivot shift on the daily pivots, and I want to maybe retard that by 1 hour. So I go to the JFX pivot system, go to the main controls, and I want to just shift by 1 hour. So now our calculation base is being retarded from 2300 hours through to 2300 hours in that time frame. And now if I then go to profile controls and then copy profile to all timeframes and all charts, wait for 5 seconds, and that will then deselect. And then if I now tile all the windows vertically and just go into this, well, let's go into each chart specifically. So we've got our daily pivots on USD CAD, 23 to 23, dollar yen, 23 to 23, euro dollar, 23 23, cable, 23 23, dollar Swiss, 23 23. So let's do another change. Let's change the down signal arrows on the stochastic crossover to a different color. So let's come out of our pivots, go into our stochastic crossover system, and at the moment we're using a blue color for our down arrows, so let's change that arrow down color to olive, and then scroll down, copy profile to all timeframes, wait 5 seconds for it to deselect, and I'm just going to minimize the window, and then I'm going to tile everything vertically. And now, hey presto, let's just make this a little bit smaller. We've got olive arrows on all our stochastic crossover down signals. So let's finalize this little demo with let's change the MACD histogram color and we'll make it big and chunky and a different color. So let's choose euro dollar, close the stochastics, open up MACD. So it's picked up our euro dollar. In fact, it hasn't. Let's just check. Let's select that again. Euro dollar 60-minute. Let's change our color to, let's go for our olive again. Oops. Or green, or whatever the color that is. I can't really tell. Let's go for something a bit lighter. Give it a thick, chunky histogram, which you've seen reflected there. And when I copy profile to all timeframes, that's just going across now. So you can see we've got a thick histogram with the same color scheme across all the charts. So hopefully this has moved things on quite considerably. I've really tried to optimize quite a few of the different indicators so they don't pull as much CPU resource on the machine. And I think, hopefully you'll agree, this loading is pretty excessive. It'd be there's a lot going on here behind the scenes. As a final thing, for profiles, some people were noticing when you actually close MT4, all of this profile work you've done was being lost. So let's just close MT4 and reopen it. So one of the things you'll notice when you first load the system is you may find that you need to just refresh some of the charts. And you can do that in a couple of ways. The elegant way to do it is to use the global functions. So just go to any of the tools that you own. So let's just go to MACD Turbo, and you don't really need to make a change. Just click copy profile to all timeframes, and that will automatically run the initialization function on all the charts. And you can now see, let's just do that one more time to pick up that US dollar Swiss franc at the end. See, we're not getting a tick. This is the problem though. Okay, we got it now. So now we've seen all the changes we made on the previous session are now maintained as we ripple through, or as we reopen the session. So a lot of subtle stuff going on here, but hopefully the new cuts which are available on the server now in the license management area will give you a much more robust environment to work with. So I'd be interested if anyone has any specific comments on the content of this video. Thanks very much for watching.